Hello everyone and welcome to BleedRunning, the only place where you'll find your Bleed 2 speedrunnings. Today we're going to be doing a story new game hard race between LordSynn and Eviona. We'll be getting ready to start the race in just a moment here. Alrighty, I just want to make a quick runner check with everyone. Alrighty, we've already started late today, so let's waste no more time with this race today. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, races go! Alrighty, today we are doing our Bleed 2 speedrun race. Bleed 2 is an action-y platformer style game. It's got a lot of dashes, a lot of shooting, and a lot of dodging going on here. We have Eviona and Synn, both very good racers today, so we should have a good show. Their Evie's getting ready to face the first little intro boss right now. All we need is a quick deflect there. Deflect's a feature in this game that really, it's a good way to get a lot of damage out. Those purple balls you see flying across the screen there, all those shots, all those bullet sponges, anything purple, the character we're playing with today, which is Wryn, is able to deflect those bullets back at enemies. And Evie's already finishing off trying to do the other intro boss here, which shows us how to slow down time, which is another main component of the game. Evie's getting up to the first actual boss and doing pretty good right now, avoiding those yellows. The yellow bullets we cannot deflect, so we're just going to try to avoid those as much as possible. Synn's right behind Eviona, just barely behind them. And Evie's just about to finish off and gets a good deflect there to finish off that fight. Synn's still got about a quarter left as Eviona transitions on to the next stage. And those are some good first stages from both of our runners today. The next stage is a little bit of a kind of a side scroller here. The screen doesn't actually scroll, but the background. We're stuck locked in this kind of frame here. Both runners are doing good, just pretty much trying to do our best to clear out all those baddies as fast as possible. This is a new game race, so there aren't any real great weapon switches or any real complex things that you'll see in a freestyle race of this. Eviona's gotten to the boss of the first level finally now. It's a lot of bullet sponges going flying everywhere, just trying to deflect as much as we can while not taking any damage, and Evie's already finished it off since about halfway through the boss himself. Getting a good deflect there from Synn. And one more here, and there he goes. We got a really close race starting off right now. Still plenty of time to go. Yes, as Skylord says, yes. You can also taunt in this game, which is a great mechanic. Doesn't really play too much of a factor into the new game ones. As I said before, we don't really have a lot of the weapons, but in our freestyle races, there's a very good weapon that actually gains power based off your style point in the top right-hand corner. We get a little kitty chopper action going on right now as Eviona is doing a good job of avoiding those missiles, deflecting them back when they can. Always want to try to do as much damage as possible and deflect as much as possible. We don't want to see this boss go off the screen too much. That's the big time killer in this. Anytime any of these multiple bosses can get off the screen, we want to make sure we can just minimize that and try to kill them as quick as possible. Yeah, Synn is getting one of the longer animation attacks there at the end. Evie is flying right through the next stage. It's actually one of the difficulty spikes, I feel, is this little truck segment here. Trying to get through all these kitties, but he's passed that onto the semi-core, which is our rival from the first game, coming back to make our life in the second game just as miserable as the first. There can only be one hero and rival, that is Wryn. So Evie gets a nice deflection there on the big missile, and finishes off that fight while Synn's just behind. Got about 33% of the health left on the boss, as Eevee is making their way towards the new big baddie of Bleed 2. This is Valentine, and she wants to be the best, but obviously we have Wryn, and so there can't be two bests, so we gotta show her. This is another one of those big, you'll see the runs really differentiate between new game and freestyle here. In freestyle modes, we actually will have access to missiles and everything else that can break that little blue barrier around her. In new game, we do not have that luxury, so as we can watch Eevee here, the key to this fight is to just make sure that our semi-core, driven by our rival, does not take any damage, so you can fire that big laser right there, and then we can actually damage Valentine. Synn has just gotten his rival to join him in the fight, gets a good first clear, gets that bubble cleared off of Valentine real quick, and Eevee's just got one more cycle. If he can manage to not take any damage. Ooh, that's a tough one. The purple cars are always the tough one. It's a very awkward deflection angle. But actually, we should be seeing both races here finishing up relatively soon. See if Synn can actually... Synn does knock all those cars away, as Eevee finishes off Valentine and get ready for the next level, with Synn right behind them. Now we're going to be taking our semi-core and going into the air to go chase after that ship. We're going to skip our little cutscenes super fast here. Alright, so now we're stuck on our whale core now that we are flying in the air. We'll have a few enemies appearing here before the next boss. There's a very short platforming segments in between each bosses. It's a little mix of a platforming game and a little mix of a boss rush game, which is very nice. Synn and Eevee are both doing well, both barely even taken. I don't think either one has been hit all run yet so far. We'll knock on wood for the luck of our runners there. And now we get into the red sprite with the big yeehaw. And I forgot to actually give you guys music and game sounds, so I apologize for that. We'll just fix that real quick. There we go. Fixed it just in time for Eevee to finish off a red sprite. Yeehaw is right. Synn now, just finishing off the red sprite themselves. Next up is the mysterious ninja fight after these little robot cores here come in. The ninja is a very mysterious figure in this game. We don't know much about them. Not even sure what their real name or what their gender could be. It's a mystery, everybody. Eevee's getting ready to fight off the ninja of legend now. The first stage of the ninja is a bunch of deflections here. We're going to try to, every time he tries to come in with those purple ones, we're going to try to deflect it back as quick as possible. And then he'll follow up with a nice yellow non-deflecting attack. Then we move into stage 2 here, where the ninja has 3 different attacks it can do in this. You might not actually see any of them, because Eviona doesn't want to see any of them. And yes, that's it! Quick and simple. Destroying the ninja. Synn now is still just finishing up phase 1 here. Right? Or is he on stage? I'm sorry, I think he's finishing up stage 2. He is. There's just 2 yellow attacks in a row, which you don't normally see, which is a little bit of bad RNG. Next up here, we just have a little bit of a bullet sponge semi-level here, before we go fight off Rex Rocket. These here, you'll soon see missiles come flying in. There they are. Alright, Eviona's gonna go on a little trip now. Go find out who's shooting all these rockets at us, while Synn finishes up his billet sponge. And there they are, Rex Rocket, the missile rocket launching boss. There's a few different things that the Rex Rocket can give us here. Those yellow, or they can be purple, the bullets that you just saw come off on the screen. He'll also shoot out yellow or purple missiles. There's the purple bullets. We want to see some nice big purple missiles here so we can try to deflect them. And Eevee actually does the more advanced finish too, trying to finish from the lowest possible point of the screen. when you destroy Rex Rocket, because your sprite will fall off the screen after that. Synn getting a nice deflection in there on Rex Rocket. It's going for it too. It's a little bit higher, but still pretty good level there. Defeating Rex Rocket and getting off the screen as fast as possible to get that level clear. Now we're actually onto the ship, and it's time for us to go find out who's flying this thing. Eviona is now up into our chaff spammer, or space pills as I like to call them. It's the one boss in this game that just failed to actually get to... He came in a little late. He was really hoping he could get in here in the early 90s and, you know, get in on that Dr. Mario craze that was going on, but unfortunately that fad didn't last, and now he's stuck being a boss in Bleed 2. And Eviona completely wipes him out. The big part about it, as you see in Synn's stage, is you just gotta make sure we get in those shots through those chaff pods and not actually... like, actually hitting the boss and not actually hitting the chaff. The least amount of chaff spam as we can. We want to make sure that damage is going on the boss. Eviona is now into our side-scroller stage. This side-scroller stage is pretty... not bad. You don't really lose any time here. The biggest time loss here is if you do end up getting hit in this stage, you actually slow the speed of the scroll. It's a very nice little component there, but as long as you don't get hit, you shouldn't lose any time. Synn now going into the side scroller as well, trying to do his best not to take any damage here. Eviona is just about to start up with the boss rush. These bosses are revisited bosses from the first Bleed here. There'll be 4 in total here. Not the most complex as far as ways to avoid and stuff like that, but we're looking for one thing here. Yes, and that's exactly... thank you, Eviona. Your RNG specifically, that's the one boss move we really want to see there. We want to see him slam the ground and start rolling at us and turn purple so we can deflect that back. Now we have the... I always want to call them birds, but I know they're worms. But these ones here will dance around the screen. Only one will be on the screen at the same time. And the purple one, colored one, will obviously shoot the deflectable bullets, while the yellow one will not. They've got a few different dances they can do here. Eevee's doing a great job of really just hammering home the damage. Wow! That was an amazing movement there to avoid those yellows. As Synn is just starting off on his Birdos. Next up is the Robo White, I believe. I could be getting that name wrong, it's been a little while, so I apologize. But this one's on one of those runs where it's much easier in freestyle, as we'll have like missiles and other things that can shoot through that shield there. But as of now, in a new game story, we just gotta try to make the most optimal shots as possible and continue to do as much damage. That shield will rotate around, and it definitely likes to block all of ours. Synn opting there to not deflect back the shield and actually just continue to do pistol damage and try to get the more consistent output there. Eviona is going off against the final boss of the boss rush here, the Robo Bunny, and well, we'll have to see here. There's a few different patterns they can do, and Eviona is going to beat them before we can see most of those patterns. So congrats, Eviona, for that nice boss rush. Synn's now stepping up against Robo Bunny. We're going to see them drop the car again. Same thing we got to see for Eviona. Let's see if we actually get to see her shooting out her own form of pills. Nope, we're going to do another car crash here. Eviona's now working their way towards Nemesis Core. And doing a pretty good job. That's that one corner there you saw Eviona take. I've seen a lot of runners take damage there. It's one of those trickiest corners of the game, I think. As Synn finishes off, Robo Bunny is now going to be moving into his little segment, platforming segment. Eevee's doing a pretty good job here. Gets a good reflection back. We want to see those middle pieces slide out first. That lets us get at the core itself and do a lot of good damage. Again, nice little deflection there. Eevee should just have this done in one more pass, I believe. Yeah, see, when the middle cores and stuff like that leave late, it just leaves us less time to actually be able to do damage. And now Synn's going to start off on his slider core fight. Eviona's making their way towards the Nemesis fight number 2 here. Opting to go for the Katana, just make sure they are getting through all of those blue blobs and purple blobs, yeah. I'm not colorblind. Making sure they're getting through all those purple blobs and taking no damage in the interim. Here on the Nemesis core, you just kind of want to, the first stage here, just get as close as you can possible. Try to deflect it back as much as those purple ones as possible, but you gotta be careful. Every once in a while, they will shoot out those yellow stream of shots. But does not deter Eviona as they move on to the next phase. Synn's now making his way through, opting to go with the pistols through here. He is low on health. He may take a death here just to reset. I'm not sure. And one of the things, yep, he will. New game here. You can, if you take a death, you will start back at the last checkpoint, which is right at the beginning of this room here. So it's very, very advantageous for you to take the death here as opposed to trying to continue on after this. Eviona is now on Nemesis Core 2. Nemesis Core 2 is a tough one in new game, as it has that hard outer shell that really prohibits us from doing a lot of damage most of the time. Synn quickly finishes off Nemesis Core 1, going into version 2 now, as Eviona is heading off towards his next fight. So now you can see on Synn's screen that the Nemesis core here, the version 2, like, you just can't do a lot of damage. You gotta wait for them to just start losing those little pellets here, and then that'll expose some of it. He does get a nice deflection there, as Eviona sets up and gets ready to fight Battalion. Valentine making a quick cameo before she exits stage right. Battalion here, we want to see... There's a few different forms that they can take. We're really looking for Pac-Mans here. That's our most preferable one, and this is a Pac-Man right here. Now we're hoping that Pac-Man will, yep, turn purple and get that deflect damage down on them. Ooh, and right into a Saw, which is about the second best form that Battalion can take. Oh, into a Pac-Man again. Eviona with the RNG, really liking it today. And that's a quick Battalion there by Eevee. Synn now is making his way through. Eevee's heading off towards Battalion now, just a little bit behind. Still could be anybody's race. Just one false move and, you know, you lose a lot of health, although Synn is a little low on health here. But we just hope that he can make it right to that boss room. We do not want to have to see him reset all the way back. Eviona moving into one of the final stages. Well, the final stage before the epilogue. Eviona, you see now, is also running off stage, trying to lose health. That's to set up a quick skip later on, and we can skip a small little animation that Valentine will give us during one of the phases. She has 4 different phases altogether, unless I'm forgetting a phase. This first phase here, you just want to try to not kill as many of the ads as possible, and just continue to... It's a general theme of the game. You just want to try to avoid the ads and try to do as much damage to bosses as possible to take them down as quick as possible. Thank you, Skylord. Alrighty, we're into the second stage now. Gets a good deflect there by Eviona. Gets a nice... Can he get over? Ooh, nice. Manages to make it to both of those open spots and do pretty good damage throughout the whole fight. Throwing in some taunts there. Synn is fighting Battalion, gets a good Pac-Man here. He's almost done with that there. Getting ready to move on to the showdown. Eevee's now into the third stage. The third phase, excuse me, of the Valentine fight. Getting a lot of katanas in there, good too. Synn has finished off Battalion and moving on towards the showdown now. Eviona looking to get as many of those deflections off as possible. Valentine just teleporting all over that stage. Alright, now you'll see Eviona looking, waiting for that timer to go down, waiting for Valentine to start rising. And you should see a death skip here. There it goes. So we do that just to save the quick little dialogue and little animations before the final phase. Now you notice that Valentine now in this phase has their familiar blue shield. We're going to need to use a taunt here. Eviona lands the taunt. Now, there is a sequence we can do here to lock her into place, and Evie looks like they are nailing it right now. That's 2 taunts in a row. Can you get the third? And that's the third taunt. And that is the Valentine fight. He's moving on to the epilogue. There's just one enemy left. One enemy that's standing in Wryn's way. And that would be the rival. So we'll get to see the rival's visit to our house in a moment here on Evie's. Synn now is moving his way through the stages of Valentine. It's an unfortunate RNG thing there, like the ads there on the screen kind of follow you, and unfortunately you couldn't do any damage to Valentine during that because the ads are all blocking his line of sight. But oh, Eviona gets disrupted during playing some video games here. Looks like they are off to fight the rival. The rival's another multi-stage boss. First we have the Mantis Core here. Evie's gonna try to just keep doing as much damage to that center Mantis face. Deflecting back when available. You should see another attack. Maybe the Mantis won't give it to us, but Mantis does like to use its head every now and then. That's a deflectable attack back at them. Synn's getting ready for his death skip soon. Let's see if he does it. Oh yeah, he's going for it as Evie just dismantles that Mantis Core. Next up is the Whale Core segment. A very tiny platforming segment here. Doing the best just to avoid as much damage as possible while going up as fast as possible. And makes it through before the laser can actually hit them. Now you can actually fight the Whale Core, so we're going to try to deflect these purple missiles back at the Whale Core. Whale Core loves flying off the screen for us, so we want to try to do this stage of the fight as quickly as possible, maximizing those deflections whenever we can. Alrighty, we got Synn now going into the final stage of the Valentine fight, gets the taunt down. This should be it for him, and he should be on to the showdown now. Eviona finishing off the Whale Core. Big old missile, so we start falling. But wait, there's a boss here as well. So now we have the climbing core. Again, there's a few different patterns that the climbing core can give us. Nice. That is a good deflection of that missile there by Eviona. Synn's starting off the epilogue. He's getting his video game session interrupted now by that jerk rival. Eviona just about to finish the crawling core here. Just 2 more segments left for Eviona, and that'll be the first race completed. As Synn is working on the Mantis Core now. Ooh, see, that was the attack I was talking to you guys about earlier, where the Mantis will literally drop its face right on you to try to hurt you, but you can deflect that back, as Synn showed. Eviona now onto the crawling core. Crawling core is one that I do not have fun with. But these racers here, they're very much more talented than I at this game. Ooh, that is a rough hit there. Evie trying its best just to make it through. Let's get the crawler core almost done. Those dark colored blocks are harder to destroy. Oof, that was a close one. Evie's holding it out though. And does finish off the crawling core. Well, it'd be interesting to see here if Eviona does take an intentional death on the last phase of the rival. Health is low, but Eviona can probably do this without getting hit. And looks like they're not going to go for the intentional death. Quickly says, I don't want to play Pong. Oh, it does end up going for an intentional death. Yeah, right. Rival is the only boss in this fight with 2 health bars. Count them, not 1, but 2 health bars. So this is a long last segment here. Eevee opting to play Pong there and destroying the rival with it. Synn is now moving on to the Crawling Core, having finished with that Whale Core. Playing Pong again on Eevee, and Eevee wins. I'd like to see a match between Eevee and Forrest Gump on who's a better Pong player now. Gets a good deflection there, knocks the rival down when you deflect that attack, giving you more opportunity to just continue to do damage with your pistols. Avoiding those missiles pretty well, trying not to deal with them, and Eviona is going to be finishing off the rival with a time of 24-27. Congratulations, Eviona. Synn now finishing off the Crawling Core, moving in... I'm sorry, the Climbing Core, moving into the Crawling Core. There is a thing I found out about the Crawling Core is it actually hurts itself whenever it destroys the these blocks here and walks into the blocks. So, if anybody out there is really, really interested, you could probably do a pacifist run on the Crawling Core if you really wanted to try it. I don't recommend it. Synn now needs to just finish off the Crawling Core, then go for his final rival fight, and we'll see how he does there. He's kind of low on the health right now. I'm kind of worried. But that Crawling Core is dead! Whew! No restarting that fight for Synn. Just gonna have to mop up the rival, and then he'll be all set. Let's see if Synn opts to do the same Pong strats, or if he chooses not to play Pong. Gets a good missile there first. The missile is probably one of the best attacks the rival can make at you. He stands still for a while that missile gets called down and explodes. The one attack we don't want to see is him pulling out his katana, as he will just be a pain in the butt right here. Synn does a good job of just avoiding him and staying away during that time. Just barely misses the deflect there. Rival just pulled up a little short of us. Does a good job of not actually hitting those missiles there and just having the bullets continue to hit the rival. A lot of katanas. Synn's doing a good job of avoiding it, but... a lot of katanas and a lot of missiles, so you know... it's one of those days where you get the crit successes and you get the crit failures, all in one. The rival down to half health, well, quarter health now. Oh, Synn was nice enough to play one little rally of Pong before he pieced out of that one. And trying to put the finishing touches on it. Should be able to get it through here before he goes through another cycle, and that is time for Synn. Well, not yet, but once we see that game clear side up, now it's time for Synn. So that is our first race, and I just noticed that I left some, let's just fix our victories here. I apologize for that, everybody. I didn't realize we still had our victories up. We're just going to hide this one, and we are going to give that victory to Eviona. Alright, we're going to take a quick couple seconds. And we're going to go get ready for our second race now, but we will be back shortly. Please enjoy our intro music as we play it. See you all soon. Sorry about that, everyone, but we can actually get you some bleed music going as well as we can get Eviona's stream up. There we go. So we don't have to listen to silence. Alrighty, ready, racers. We're gonna be going in 3, 2, 1, go! And we are ready for the start of our second race. Eevee's jumping off, going through it again. As we said, this is an action platforming race. So we will need to be able to move quick, shoot fast, and dodge all the bullets. Those purple bullets on the screen are deflectable, though. So that is one good thing that we have in our toolbox here. And we're already moving through our first intro boss here. We're moving on to our second intro boss, the time-slowing intro boss here. Eviona makes short works of that. Synn steps up, and also doing very well. Nice, easy intro bosses out of the way. We're gonna get into our first stage half-boss here, mini-boss. Eevee getting the first deflect pretty well, gets another deflect. That's 2 deflects early on, very nice. Synn unfortunately gets a yellow, that's where the RNG is not your friend. And Eevee finished him off and moving on to his auto-scroller stage. Synn's just about to finish off now. Fortunately, he had that one attack that went all the way off screen, slowing him down just a tad. Now we're into our auto-scroller, non-auto-scroller game stage. As we don't really move, but the screen moves all around us. Eevee doing a good job of just not taking any damage here, which is the key. The less damage you take, the less you die, and the less time you have to make up. Eviona now going for the deflect, gets it. Already a third of the way through the first stage of boss. Avoiding those missile blasts. Synn now starting up. Gets another deflect in there, Eevee. And finishes off that boss real quick. Fortunately there, Synn got a yellow movement and was unable to deflect that attack. But avoids the missiles there. Doing some good deflections from that string of purple bullets that getting shot out and finishes it off. Eevee now gonna go make friends with a lot of kitties as he moves through this stage here. And going off to fight a bunch of kitties in a chopper. Once again, this kitty chopper fight here, you want to make sure you're deflecting as many of the purple segments back, whether it be missiles or bullets. We do not want this kitty chopper going off the screen too far. Unfortunately, the big missile that the kitty chopper shot at Eevee was a yellow one, which was undeflectable. As Synn starts up his kitty chopper fight, and Eevee finishes theirs. Ooh, Synn does get a nice big purple missile there that he can deflect back. As Eevee is just coasting through this segment. Watching Eevee go through this segment makes me want to rethink how I play video games in general. Because I'd never get that segment a fraction of as clean as he gets it there. Now onto the semi-core. Doing his best to just keep the damage going. Gets a nice dash through that narrow gap between the missiles there. Synn is making his way through the kitty alley. Gets onto his semi-core fight now. Big yellow missile there from the semi-core means that Eevee cannot deflect that one and just has to let it go by. But finishes off semi-core and is off to face Valentine. Synn also gets the yellow big rocket and unfortunately cannot deflect that back. Synn now just making his way through, gets a good deflection right off the bat there as Eevee steps up to face Valentine. Valentine now still with that same blue shield we saw her last game with. Fortunately, we are unable to break it ourselves, but with the help of a rival, we are able to break that and do damage to Valentine herself. Rival showing up now for Eevee, and now Eevee's got to play the protect game. As Synn starts off their fight against Valentine, doing their best to avoid any damage there. Does take out the brown truck. That poor brown truck just trying to help out Wryn and gets shot with a laser. Ooh, Eevee getting all three of the purple cars there deflected and saving the semi-core from taking any damage, so they're able to fire the laser. Synn now gets his first help with the rival after protecting it. And Eviona just wiping the floor of Valentine, ready to move on to the next stage. Synn here with the 3. Unfortunately, that second one was a short hop and hit the front of the car. The semi-core there. And the laser, not being friendly, hitting the semi-core as well. Oh, and another 3 car. But it looks like Synn's got it this time. Big ol' rocket breaks that shield, and Synn's gonna be knocking them down. Just one more phase for Synn, and he'll be done with Valentine, as Eviona is now going into the pre-Red Sprite fight. A few little flying robotic birds and some bad dudes on the screen. Clear them out as quick as possible. And Synn does finish off Valentine, heading off into the sky on the whale core as well. And the yeehaws are here as the Red Sprite shows up. Evie getting into a tough little pickle there. No way to avoid damage. Getting some good deflects going though. Ooh, even gets that third deflect in, even though it was a little behind. Got able to reposition in time. And yeehaw is gone. No more Red Sprite. Synn now just trying to clear up the last of his baddies before he gets his chance on the Red Sprite. Evie's clearing out the little robotic probes before the mysterious ninja shows up. We'll see if the ninja will actually show us a little more of their moveset this time against Eviona. So the first stage of ninja, remember, is all about deflection here. Just gonna wait for him to appear on screen and try to deflect him as quick as possible while avoiding the yellow lightning bolts. Eviona moving on to stage 2 of the ninja. Now the ninja itself will give you a little visual cue of what kind of attack out of the 3 that it's doing, but unfortunately it's one of the hardest things to pick up and register quick unless your name is Eviona. So Eviona makes short work of stage 2, getting ready to go off to track down the Rex rocket bandit that was hanging out around the spaceship we're trying to get on. Synn now moving into phase 1 of the ninja fight, getting those deflections in. Onto his ninja fight now. So that's one of the attacks from the stage 1 that he carries over into stage 2. This is a new attack there. You'll see the ninja just dashing right across. As missiles are appearing now for Eviona as they're making their way towards Rex Rocket, the source of all those missiles. And he does get a double deflection there. 2 purple missiles, both deflected right back at Rex Rocket by Eviona. Avoids all the yellow bullets there. Health is getting low, so you'll see Evie just hanging by the lower end of the screen here. Ooh, does take some damage there, but comes right back, drops down, and gets the kill while being very low on the screen to just save those seconds. Synn now into his bullet sponge. Just trying not to soak them and deflect them all away. Now he's starting to see these missiles coming on the screen. Making his way towards the Rex rocket. As Evie has now made it onto the spaceship. And making their way towards the Chaff Spammer. Or Space Pills boss, as I like to call him. Once again, Dr. Meyer just didn't work out for him. Wow, Evie literally doing some good katana switching there to just get rid of all the ads so that way he doesn't have to worry about it and can just do as much damage to the boss as possible. Don't want to waste bullets on those Chaff's pods while you can just destroy the boss and move on like that. Synn himself is finished off Rex Rocket, moving into the Star Ship phase. Evie's into our one true auto-scroller of the game, but like I said when we talked about last race, this auto-scroller here, it'll actually pick up faster as you progress, but if you take any damage, you reset back to the initial value, which is much, much slower than what it ramps up to be. Synn is onto the chaff spammer now. Doing his best to just knock that spammer out. We don't like spammers around here. Evie about to start up the boss rush again. So he's on to Robo Guppy here. As Synn is just finishing off the Chaff Spanner now. Moving on, trying to get his way to that same boss rush, going into the side scroller now. We're looking for Robo Guppy. I don't think he's going to even have a chance to drop and let us deflect his attack. But that's a-okay, because Eviona is ready up for the next one. I believe the official names are Robo Guppy? No. Gimpy and Stew? Robo Gimpy and Stew? They are Birdos whenever I play. And I know that makes no sense, but that's just me. But Evie's doing pretty good, making short work of the birds here, the birdie worms. It's Gibby and Stew. There is no Robo to it. So now you're going on to white on Eviona's screen as Robo Guppy is getting handled by Synn. Once again, white is a tough one because that shield will block all of the bullets we want to fire at them, so we gotta wait for that shield to be positioned to where we can actually do damage to the core itself. Some races choose to... Oh, alright, Evie doesn't have a chance if they wanted to deflect it or not. I believe most runners now are not deflecting the shield if they throw it out purple at them, since they can do more damage just by keeping the pistols firing at the core. Robo Bunny now. Ooh, alright. That was a move we did not actually get to see in the first race. She just wanted to drop cards on anyone, but this time here she pulled out her pill pack and shot him out, and Evie gets both of those reflections. The first three are all yellow, which you can't deflect, but the last one she shoots out is a purple one that is deflectable. Evie finishing off the boss race and getting ready to move on to the next stage. Synn's finishing up with Gibby and Stew and going on to white. Once again, white, we got that annoying shield we have to worry about there. As Eviona is heading deeper into the starship, getting ready to face Slider Core. And yep, we'll see Synn choose not to deflect back the shield to Robo White there. Evie's now getting ready to fight Sliding Core. We'll see what kind of RNG we get here on this fight. Of course, the middle one always wants to leave last, because, you know, why should we be able to get to do free damage, right? Ooh, get some good shots in there. Middle Thrower not even moving that time. Right, as Synn is finishing off Robo White now. Just got about half of a health bar left on his screen. Evie is... Oh, almost. I really thought Evie might have got a chance there to clear it before it came back, but luckily it gave us a nice deflectable attack to finish off that fight. Evie now is going to be making their way. They're using the katanas here just to pop all those purple bubbles, making sure that there's no chance that any damage is taken there. Also gives you a nice deflection on those. Some of those purple bubbles, you notice there are some bullets inside of them. When you break that purple bubble, those bullets will fly out at you, so it is a good idea to have that katana out so you can deflect them. Nemesis Core here, he's staying really close to that center eye, making sure that when he does shoot out those purple bullets, he can deflect as many of those as possible back. There's a small, slight tell of what kind of color bullets the Nemesis Core will shoot if you look at the center eye. We're not going to be able to see that on Eviona's screen right now, but when LordSynn gets there, if you do notice, the outer iris of the eye will turn either blue or yellow, indicating what the next wave of bullets are going to come out as. It's always a nice small little visual cue there if you're trying to figure it out. Eviona goes on to Nemesis Core Fight 2 here. Once again, there's a lot of shielding on this boss, so you always want to try to get those bullets back on there, just so it'll explode on itself and break off those armored shells that it gets. Nice deflection there by Evie. mopping it up pretty good as Synn is working on Sliding Core now. Who finishes it off as it was pulling its pieces back, so we got a nice little sprite animation there on Synn's screen. Eviona finishes off Nemesis Core 2, making their way towards Battalion next. And Synn is just doing his best here. Just some nice katana action there to avoid any damage during his transition. He's going to go for the quick kill here on the Nemesis Core, just to reset his life total and everything else like that. As Eviona steps in to Valentine. And Valentine steps out because Battalion's going to be the boss that Eviona's going to fight here. Once again, we're looking for Pac-Mans, number one, more importantly than anything else. And Evie gets a Pac-Man right off the bat, with a deflection on top of it. That Pac-Man can also go yellow at the end there. And we would be unable to deflect this, which isn't as good, but... Ooh, a shark into another Pac-Man. Let's see if it goes purple here. It does! That's another deflection there. Great Battalion RNG right now. And a quick little saw that you guys got to see there before Eviona beats Battalion. Synn working on Nemesis Core version 2. He's got half of those armor plates taken off him, so he can actually start doing some damage. Pushing those bullets right on top. Gets a good amount of that armor plating destroyed. And gets a good deflection here as well. Synn's almost about done with Nemesis Core version 2. He'll be heading off to Battalion next. As Eviona goes into the showdown with Valentine. Gonna opt to lose some health here during the beginning intro little. Just trying to set up for that death skip later on. It's a pretty good job not wasting too many bullets on all of the extra critters there, the little flyy things. Trying to just make sure that Valentine is the one taking most of the damage there, and there is a phase 1 done, as LordSynn steps in to fight Battalion. Eviona Stage 2 is all about those blue ones there. You just really want to make sure you don't get surrounded by them, and that way there you stop doing damage to Valentine. Pretty good RNG there on the capsule kitties dropping in those blue capsule things. And that is Stage 2 done, as Synn is working on Battalion. Synn's getting a Pac-Man here. Let's see what kind of Pac-Man he gets. Does he get the purple? He does! That's a deflection there to end that fight off for him. Evie now going through the teleport phase. Ooh, gets a good deflection in there on Valentine. Gonna try to jump up and deflect some of those bullets before they even get in the portal there. Here, just making sure she doesn't stay long enough to actually start up that laser beam. And this should be it. Alright. Eviona's gonna take a little more damage, just at the perfect health now, getting ready for that death skip. As Synn steps in for his showdown against Valentine. Once again, a very close race. With the one mistake from Eviona, Synn could easily catch up. As Evie's going for the stun lock now. Lands the first one. Lands the second. Just needs to land one more of these. Or two more, actually. Nope, one more. I was right the first time. Never doubt yourself, everyone. First instincts are usually right. But that is the showdown done for Eviona, as Synn is working his way through phase 2. As Eviona gets their flowers for defeating Valentine. Guess it's all set for Eviona just to go home, relax, and play some video games. Synn now working his way, almost done with this phase. As Eviona is getting interrupted in their video game session by some mean jerk rival. who wants to prove that they're the best. Synn now setting up for his death skip on the left side there. Alrighty, Eviona going up against Mantis Core. Some good deflections in there. Continuing that deflection streak going. We'll see if the Mantis actually tries to drop its head on Eevee this time. Synn now moving into phase 3, where Valentine starts teleporting all over the places and making portals and everything. And Eviona finishes off the Mantis Core, moving on to the Whale Core. Once again, we have a small platforming section here with before the little pre-Whale Core fight here, where we are just trying to go up as fast as possible. And Eviona definitely avoids that laser. Doesn't even have a real chance to avoid it because he moves so fast. The Whale Core here likes to go off map a lot, off the screen a lot, so we just want to make sure we're maximizing our damage while they are on the screen. As Synn now is getting ready for the final phase. Nope, I think Finn just actually finished off the final phase, I'm sorry. Just starting it up, okay, yeah. I always get confused by that animation there at the end. He didn't actually do the death skip this time, which is what threw me kind of off. Now he's gonna have to wait and taunt to have the crowd throw the trash at it, and so Valentine's shield gets destroyed. He does not get the stun lock in, unfortunately, as Eviona goes off to the crawling core. Or climbing core. There's a lot of cores in this game, guys. Eviona doing a good job there. We didn't get to see an actual big missile there for deflection this time. A little bit of the RNG that the game can throw at you. As the climbing course falls to the... well, slides back up to the top of the screen. A yellow rocket there, unfortunately, but Eviona does finish it off. Moving into the crawling course segment now. As Synn does finish off his showdown with Valentine. Synn, why don't you go stop playing some video games, man? Go head back on home. But the rival doesn't want to let Synn play some video games, so... especially when you ruin someone's TV like that, you know. At that point, you just gotta go out and answer it to them. So Eevee's working on crawling core here. Using the katana to cut through those dirt blocks quick. Give them a lot of movement to work around. Make sure they don't get caught up in any one particular bad location or something. And Synn is starting off his fight against the Mantis Core as Eviona gets a good reflection there, knocking out Crawling Core, getting ready for the final showdown with the rival, the 2 health bar rival. Once again, we get into this fight here. We want to see the missiles drop. We just do not want to see him pull out a katana and try to katana us, because that is no bueno. Bouncing all around the screen, shooting up some missiles, that's alright. Eviona's tracking them pretty well. Avoiding the missiles themselves, and still keeping... yep, there's those katanas we don't want to see. As Synn is now onto the Whale Core. There's a good deflection there by Eviona. It's one of the ones where it does knock the rival down for a second or two, and you're able to just continue to output your pistol damage there. And again... pistol and katana little combo there from Eviona. Just outputting as much damage as possible. Oof, that was a very quick long one. And that is it for Eviona. Once we see that game clear screen, boom! At a 24:05, Eviona finishes off race 2. We're gonna go and let Eviona enjoy that Sunday, as Synn finishes off his fight with the climbing core. Synn doing a good job here. He's got a good amount of health left. He might be able to make it through the rest of this fight without having to take any intentional deaths or anything else like that. So the crawling core now, climbing core now drops, and the crawling core starts to move towards Synn. Here it is. Synn's going to be trying his best to not get caught by those lasers. Like I said, if anybody out there would ever like to try a pacifist run of the Crawling Core, I would like to see that. Make sure you clip it and send it to me over on the Discord, our BleedRunning Discord. Because there was at one point when I was trying a very hard game where I thought that I was just going to try to do a passive run on this guy because he was wrecking me. But I digress. Synn is doing a good job here, avoiding a lot of the damage coming out from the Crawling Core. Health bar is decent. That's definitely a doable fight against the final rival fight. As he gets ready for the 2 health bar rival showdown now. And we're off. Once again, we want no katanas here. Synn is not one to play Pong. It's not his kind of a game. I don't blame him. So we're going to see a couple of missiles coming out from the rival here. Even more missiles coming out. Synn does a great job of staying ahead of everything. The missiles do not actually block his path. Avoided that katana. Once again, Synn says, "No Pong for me, sir." No thank you, rival. Wow, the rival really wants to play Pong today, huh? Which is fine. We'll take Pong over him pulling out a katana on us. Oof. Synn is down to his one more hit, and Synn might be starting this fight over again. Oh, there's the katana we want to avoid. Let's just hope Synn can clutch it out here. Come on, Synn. We're all rooting for you, buddy. Let's see that clutch. Oof. Nice little time slow there to avoid the final missiles. Got the rival down to half health. Half of his last health bar. Synn playing a little more cautiously now. We can see him slowing down time a little more often. But it looks like even with that last hit, can he do it? Good job, Synn. Woof! Entertaining till the last second. So with 2 races under their belts, Eviona is our winner of the night. Let's see here if the, let's see if our race is here. Yes, looks like we want to. We're gonna have a interview here with Synn in a moment.
Hi, Casey. It's Synn.
Welcome. Here we go. Let's turn the audio off on Eviona's stream so we can hear you better. So how'd you feel racing against Eviona?
Well, Eviona is very good at the game. Extremely good. So, honestly, Eviona probably is one of the top runners. Newbie is one of our top runners as well. So, between Eviona and Newbie, they definitely are, like, probably, like, the best people we have in our community. So, I was very excited to race against Eviona to get a chance, because Eviona won't play new game, which is the category I like to play. So, I was very excited. But unfortunately, I didn't know if I was going to come in with no experience and be able to, like, oh, okay, am I going to be, like, 2 seconds off? Am I going to be, like, a minute off? Am I going to be a minute over? And turns out I'm 2 minutes under, which is a little bit less than I expected.
Well, yeah, it was an amazing race by you as well, but yeah, it was just Eviona's. I've never gotten a chance to see Eviona race before, so watching that, just the pathing and everything was... I think I need to watch more Eviona.
Yeah, when during the first race, after the first race, I was like, okay, so they did really well, and I like partway through, I think it was like probably like 12 minutes in, and I was just listening to the commentary, and I was like, oh, I'm really behind. So I just popped up the stream, maximized, and was watching him play, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not doing any of that. And then when we got to the very end, the second race, you can see my concentration is gone. I tried to death skip on phase 2 instead of phase 3, which doesn't do anything. Okay. And then I messed that up.
I did notice that.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot a death skip. And then I realized I wasn't even at the death skip spot yet, and I took a bunch of damage. and then I died. We're having to do phase 3, and then because I was thrown off, I didn't prep for death skip again, so I missed death skip. And then when Valentine brings up the shield, I forgot to combo it, so I broke her shield, and I sat there and I was like, right, you're supposed to break it again. Completely forgot. And then when I got to the rival, I was like, all right, just focus in the game, and I just kind of got back into it.
That was a great finish, I will say, though. You were at a little over half health on the final rival's health bar with 1 hit left, and that was awesome to watch.
But yeah, overall, it was a great race. I enjoyed trying to play against Eviona. We did already talk about the next race. Eviona has agreed, so I'm really looking forward to it, just to make it a little bit easier. Just because Eviona is really, really good. We're trying to find a different way to do this. So Eviona is going to be playing blindfolded. I'm going to be playing a very hard, plucky run, one-handed. It's going to be really good, so make sure you guys tune into that.
That will be an interesting race.
Alright, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for running. It was an awesome race. We're checking to see here now if we want to see if Eviona wants to come in.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Eviona. How's it going? Amazing race.
It's going good.
That was amazing to watch. I've never seen somebody that platforming that cleanly before. I've only done a few of these races, but yeah, it was a next level kind of a thing.
Yo, I will say one thing. That death skip in the second race, that should not have worked. I swear that reticle didn't even appear. I don't know how that worked.
Would you think it was too
go
early?
Back and look at that. I was thinking, oh, the reticle appears sooner, so I'll just fall off. I didn't see it. I got really scared.
That was some amazing racing, though. How did you feel about the racing overall?
Overall, about the same as Synn. I didn't really have any reference as to how good or bad I was at New Game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I tried a few months ago and did really badly in New Game Normal, so I was thinking, okay, I'll probably be on everybody else's level, but I'm seeing from chat that might be 2 world records back-to-back, so maybe not.
Yeah, because you're official. I know we had like a 5-second off from my timer and your timer, so I wasn't exactly sure what the New Game world record was. Oh yeah, Synn saying it too now in chat too. World record's 26:33, or it was.
Oh,
so congratulations!
Oh wow. So yeah, that's 24:09.
Yeah, that second race was you just took off and didn't stop. But that is, yeah, that was an amazing race. And then we may have another race coming up again with trying to make it more fair with you being blindfolded and one-handed.
You know, I actually will take up the very hard part of that, just not the rest of it.
All right.
I'd like to see if very hard would actually even it out a bit.
Oh yes, and plucky too.
I don't know. Maybe.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here first.
Okay, I see Synn suggesting Pond Girl. Synn, I don't know if you know this. The record for that is almost under 20 minutes. That's a really bad idea. Cloud Girl is overpowered in very hard.
Oh no!
Oh, now it's just blindfolded.
Yep, it's got to be a blindfolded plucky one. So the race is out there though. Perhaps we might see another one coming here in the new future. Yeah, hopefully. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us here today. Unless you have any final thoughts. None that I can think of. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for the race. It was awesome to watch it. I'm very grateful I got a chance to actually commentate another one of these. I want to thank both of our races for coming out today and putting on a great show for both of us. I want to thank all the viewers out there for sticking with us of our quick little hiccups here at the start and a little bit of a late start. But we got everything up and running, and thanks again to AltaFen for making our little automated start. This came in really good the second and well, only second race too. Wasn't a third race. Maybe Synn will work on that for next time. Just joking, Synn. But yeah, thank you guys, everyone, for coming out today. It was awesome. Well, if you're not a member of the Bleed Discord, please go check that out. It's on your screen right now, the little Discord code at the bottom. We'll make sure we post all of our races in there, and we also use that to organize people to find new races to do these. So, once again, thank you everyone for coming out today. It was an awesome race. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and we'll see you all real soon.